Thanks for visiting the patient and the weather today. I'm meteorologist Al Peterlin, and this is a weather report, and a little bit of an unusual one for us. We'll be looking at the weather health stresses for July 10th and 11th. We do keep additional graphics at tpatw.com. We also maintain a storefront on Amazon. We're really in the heart of summer now, and we have one significant major frontal system on the surface map stretching all the way from Boston across Cleveland, across St. Louis, all the way down through southern Kansas and back up toward the Denver area. Lots of unsettled weather ahead and along that front, and of course a lot of unsettled weather in the south and southeast, where temperatures will be quite hot, maybe even blazing. Humidity will be high. And notice we have that touch of a bubble high here about Denver. We still are pushing a little bit of moisture into the Four Corners, but we're looking at a lot of differences and changes going on in this July weather map. Looking at our vitality index, which is just an individual measure of all of the weather elements that might cause some difficulties, you'll note we have a little bit of something going on across most of the eastern two-thirds of the country, but we have a couple of areas of particular interest. A little bit down here in the southeast Caribbean, we have a little bit of unusual activity here from Kansas and basically running right around Kansas City, both west and east, and then unusual spout of activity here either in eastern Wyoming or western portions of the Dakotas. Looking at the temperature changes for Friday and Saturday, and it's a bit unusual because we've already talked about temperatures blistering across the south and really hot across most of the country. But note that we have a very different bubble increase in temperatures, rising temperatures here across eastern Wyoming, eastern Colorado, the westernmost sections of the Dakotas, and a very unusual pepper type of really warm temperatures here across Utah, and so I think those will be the areas of significant interest. Looking at humidity, while it does look like the humidity levels are actually falling out west, what we can see is there is a significant increase in vapor moving up into Texas, of increase in vapor bubbling across probably Minnesota, northern Minnesota, Wisconsin. Again, it almost looks as if there's falling vapor pressures up here in the northern Rockies, but we have other issues to talk about there. Instability is again a bit unusual, with significant instability down here in the Caribbean, especially around Cuba and up toward the northernmost portions of coastal Florida and Georgia, but we do have instability here right about Kansas City also. So it looks as if Kansas City will be the focus of a lot of activity over this weekend. Going to do something a little differently this time because there are so few changes in both pressure, temperature, etc. We'll be looking at the change in available oxygen over 2 days. First, looking at Friday, you can see that we have migraine stresses a little bit here in eastern Texas, but the most significant area running from Kansas, southern Nebraska, across Kansas City and Missouri, and just stretching on east into western Illinois and up through southern Wisconsin and Minnesota, and even touching portions of Michigan. Note also a significant area of migraine risk here from central to northern Florida, picking up sharply again in northern Georgia, the Carolinas, and up into eastern Virginia, and then picking up again from northeastern Pennsylvania across New York into New England. Asthma and arthritis stresses on Friday centered mostly here about the panhandle of Nebraska and up into western South Dakota. But now we'll jump to Saturday's migraine risk, and it does look like the big hurt and very significant areas of migraine stresses. First, in the Pacific Northwest from Vancouver into Washington and Oregon, and then we start picking up the migraine risk and stresses all the way from eastern New Mexico across the Texas and Oklahoma panhandles, but really pushing sharply across Oklahoma through Oklahoma City. And then we start picking up again here in East Texas, Louisiana, Arkansas. We spread all the way across Tennessee and the Tennessee Valley and up into the Ohio Valley, Kentucky, Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, West Virginia, and then the middle Atlantic states, Virginia, Maryland, Delaware, Pennsylvania, New York, and all of New England. Note also very significant area of migraine stresses in Florida. As we look through the asthma and arthritis stresses, note another unusual area, eastern Colorado, eastern Wyoming, western South Dakota, across western North Dakota into Montana. So a very unusual pattern for Friday and Saturday. Probably pay you to go on to either TPATW or go through our YouTube and take a look. Thanks for visiting the patient and the weather. Your comments are appreciated, and stay safe over these next 2 days. There looks like a lot of hurt.